What's up, everyone? PD Pablo in the house. Guys, I have a few things to talk about today. Thank you for joining us on the 24/7 channel. I appreciate you guys subscribing to it. I love making videos for this channel and the other channel. I love the fact we separated them, allowed ourselves to focus on instant reaction news on the 24/7 channel and more of the long-term videos on the Everything Money channel. The market was down a lot yesterday, and today Ulta Beauty, a company we've covered many times, is down. Last time I checked, it was down 11%. Let's see where it's at right now. Let's pull up Ulta. It's down 13% now. Wowzer. $68. And here I was thinking I missed out on it, so it might be on its way down. I don't know what they did, but there's obviously some news attached to it. Let's see. I don't see exactly why, but anyhow, that's great for people who love Ulta Beauty. I had a great dream last night. I swear to God, this is true. This is the dream I had last night. And of course, people are going to hate me for this, but I dreamt that Bitcoin was at 66,000. I went to bed. I turned the TV on in the morning on CNBC, which I don't watch CNBC at all. And it said, Bitcoin is currently at $3 a share. And then it kept going lower and went to zero. And the lady goes, folks, Bitcoin is now zero. It's worth nothing. And I was just like, it happened overnight. So who knows if that happens or not? Even I'm doubting whether Bitcoin's actually going to zero.
Would you call that a premonition? Is that what they say then?
If Bitcoin goes to $1, I will buy 100,000 Bitcoin.
Wow.
Just for fun. No, I won't buy 100,000. Maybe I buy 10,000 though, just for fun. Anyhow, that was kind of cool. Is Nike down to 90? Steve, the guy who honked at me. Oh yeah, $90. Steve was funny. I was getting on the freeway. Was it last week, Steve? I don't remember what it was. I hear this loud honking, and there's a FedEx truck there, and I see this guy waving. And I'm like, I wonder if that's Steve. I'm like, maybe he wasn't waving at me. I have no idea. So I go home later that night. I'm checking my Instagram, and there's a comment. Steve was like, "Hey, that was me." I was like, "Oh God!" I was like, "How do you know it was me?" He's like, "Well, you're the only asshole who drives that car." So he didn't say that. He was very nice. Women stopped using makeup, Paul. That's right. Right. Yeah, Steve. Yeah. Nike. God, Nike's great. Hey, so the Atlanta Fed chair, what's his name? Bostic? I don't remember his name. He came out today and said, I don't think we should have any rate cuts. If we have anything, maybe the last quarter of the year in one cut. I'm sure that made people happy. Who the hell knows? Oh, now the markets are up again. Okay. I'm delivering right now. Steve, you shouldn't text and deliver at the same time. That's funny. That's funny. Covering the morning drug company Starbucks. Ooh, Starbucks. Let's go see what's going on with Starbucks. S-Bucks. $90 a share. It's on my watch list for 85. Man. That's a good company. They can afford that dividend too, based on last year's free cash flow. Not based on 5-year though. It's a little tight. Tighter than a squirrel's ass, if you ask me. Paul, I'm going to need you to stop your red day video every time you do one in the market. Before you ask, yes, it's your fault. All right. Sorry about that. Hey, what's up, Adithya? Can you talk about Uber? I can talk about Uber. That's funny. Jean. All right, let's look at Uber. Uber. They're finally making money. Cash flow, I think. Let's see, annual. Yeah, look at that cash flow, $3.36 billion. Ooh, look at these years of cash flow beforehand, though. -4.5, -2.25, -2.1, -5, -3.36, -743, and then finally cash flow positive. And, their CEO, he came out, around this time saying, listen, the world's changed. Cash flow matters now. He's like, we're going to focus on cash flow. All right. Great company. I watched that Super Pumped show on Netflix. I don't know if it's true or not, but at the very beginning, he was pitching the VC, and he said, if somebody uses our app twice, they're hooked for life. And guess what? I pick up my Uber app like it's my job when I'm out of town. Just like, oh, time to Uber. Let's go. I think I prefer Uber to even running a car. Thoughts on Foot Locker? You guys remember I used to be big on Foot Locker back before I changed my investing philosophy. I haven't looked at Foot Locker in a long time. Oh, it's under $2 billion, so we can't even talk about it. Mo, do you think Broadcom's overvalued? Well, first off, I'm Paul. Mo is not on the live stream today. He's golfing. Thank you, Mo. Oh, 2.4. I can talk about Foot Locker. Let's go back to Foot Locker. So I think for me, when it comes to retail, are they closing shops that are not profitable? Are they focusing on online? Especially with a company like Foot Locker, when you see this, increased revenue, but then declining again. You got to ask that question. How are their online sales? How are their same-store sales doing? I'm sure their same-store sales are shit. So they got to figure out a way to consolidate their stores. They have a lot of stores out there. And I actually like Foot Locker stores. I like going to the store. I like JD Sports. That's another good store. So I think it's just a matter of, what is their net income? Oh, they lost money last year. Okay, what about cash flow? Cash flizzy. Cash flizzy is negative. All right, this is a turnaround play. Can they do it? Can they do it? Let's see here. What about Disney? Will Pelt's cause disruption? I don't know. That's a good question. I still think this whole Pelt's thing is a distraction. I don't blame him for doing it, for getting on the board. I think it's a distraction in terms of the long term of the company. The company's profit margins are absolutely depressed. If they just get to 10%, how much is the stock worth? And their historical average is above that. So I'm looking at going, I'm still a believer in my Disney thesis. It might take a while to play out. But how about Alibaba buying back $4.9 billion in shares last quarter? Look at his eyes. You didn't know that?
I don't pay attention.
Oh, good for you. God, I love Nick. Nick's got 118% of his net worth in Alibaba, and he doesn't pay any attention to it because he wants to make sure he doesn't get emotional. I love it. So you're not upset it's at $47 a share? Nick's like, it's not. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Ulta Beauty's down huge. No, I agree with you, Hans. I think that's a good point. And I agree. I do think that 460-ish ain't a bad price, but it's not exactly value. I agree. It doesn't give me my margin of safety that I feel comfortable with. I think I have mine at 375 to take a look to sell puts. Next energy stock, NEE. I don't even know what that is. Let's look at it. 128 billion. Jesus Christ. Market cap. Florida Power and Light. Largest rate regulated utility in Florida. So how does that work? So here's something I hate. Net income, 7.3 billion. Profit, free cash flow, 1.75. 5-year net income, 4.34 billion. Free cash flow, negative 540. That's a huge red flag for me. That's my red flag. I'm going to draw that red flag in. I'm not saying that there's anything going on here, but you got to understand, why is the free cash flow so low? What are they investing in? Is it investing? Let's see. Let's see if their cash flow, cash from operations. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's my big issue right there. I'll just tell you right there, if you can't get an understanding of that, it justifies it. I mean, look at this. They're paying dividends of how are they affording these dividends? How do they afford a 3.75%, $3.78 billion dividend? I don't get that. That to me is just, I'm out for that reason. Because I really have no desire to learn on that one. And here's Lisa sending me my to-do list for the day. I'm literally her assistant. Literally, we'll wake up in the morning, I'll say, hey, can you do this for me? I'll be like, yes. And she's like, thank you, assistant. I'm like, no problem. She literally Lisa sent me Neutrogena Fresh Foaming Cleanser to buy. Why am I buying this for her? Why doesn't she just go on eBay and buy it herself? I guess they don't have it on Amazon, because if she had to find it on eBay, she probably couldn't find it on Amazon. Oh, I love it. It's so funny to me. Indian stocks. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I'd love to be able to understand that better. Actually, you know what, Dalton? Let's you and I have a conversation about India. What do you think of Hims? Oh, that's that company that does like the hair thing as well as the sexual stuff. I think Hims. Are they publicly traded? Hims and Hers. Oh, wow. Free cash flow is greater than net income. That's good. Yeah, it's bigger than I thought it was. Oh, wow. They're really growing. Why don't I have the update?
I already have it automatic.
I like PCs more. Clear my cache. Yeah, I think India is a great place to look for some value. I mean, especially international. Like I see some, Monish talked about Turkey having like 3x multiples on companies. Man, sounds pretty attractive to me. I have a hard time believing that Turkey's going off the list. We're excited. We're going to Turkey as part of our honeymoon cruise in September. We start in Greece, go to Turkey, come back to Greece. Yeah, it's going to be great. Dun, 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 dun. I think Tencent is probably a better business than Baba. Hims is growing, but not as much as Viagra. But yeah, it is growing fast. I just returned from India, growing fast, Paul. Yes, it is. So I have this little calendar thing on my desk where every day is a new fact. And the other day, the fact was there are more cell phones in India than toilets. That's what it said. I don't know if it's true or not. But I send these facts to my stepkids and things like that, and really only Lisa and one of them respond. And that's it. Hans, I think we're stopping only in Istanbul. What do you think of arbitration play with Take-Two Interactive? I think you meant arbitrage play, Steve. I don't know. Take-Two Interactive stuff. I've looked at Take-Two, I think, before. Wait, is Take-Two public or no? Oh, there it is. Bow, 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 bow. Loses cash flow, loses net income. Price to sales ratio doesn't seem bad. A little high for a 37 gross margin. So guys, when I look at things, when I look at the price to sales ratio, I then look at the gross margin. Because the higher the gross margin, I tend to see a higher price to sales ratio overall. I mean, obviously, really the bottom line margin is what drives it. But I'm looking at this going, all right, free cash flow, $340 million, $25 billion market cap. So what would it take for it to justify that? And is it growing a lot? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Let's see. Hey, Tim, you know what I want to do? You know what we should do right down here? Let's put 5-year and 10-year revenue growth rates. Let's add that here. Yeah, that's very easy because we already have it in the on the stock analyzer tool. So let's put 5-year and 10-year revenue growth rates. Actually, let's do 3, 5, and 10.
And I think we probably have it in pillar screener already.
Yeah, that'll be really easy. Oh my God, Adobe is the best freaking software business with Microsoft. Oh, great, Aaron. Thanks very much. Why don't you talk about companies that are... So, John, great question. Why don't you talk about companies that are $2 billion market cap? Basically, our lawyers said to us, guys, you got to pick a market cap, and you can't go below that to talk about. And we said, let's just call it $2 billion. That's it. It was an arbitrary number. At first, I said $1 billion. Then I said no, because if stocks fall... So I just basically, at the end of the day, just picked $2 billion, and that was it. So we have to be very consistent about that. Oh, interesting. So Ulta is down because they said same store sales will be lower than they forecast in the years. What do you think? What do they think it'll be, Dalton? Railroads are awesome. Raquel, TE Connectivity, TEL. Let's check that one out. $44 billion market cap. Largest electrical connector supplier in the world. Wow. Okay. Woo. Wow. Okay. Slightly lower free cash flow than net income on the 1-year basis, but on the 5-year, they're about the same, so that's great. PE, wow, 13. Price of free cash flow, 17. Okay, I like this. Profit margin. Okay, so there's a huge profit margin difference. Here's a big thing. So 20.69% profit margin in the last year, 13.27 in the last 5 years. So I need to go to the income statement and see what happened in the last year. Was there some sort of, because operating income was actually the same. Wait, what? Why? Oh, was it free cash flow? Okay, so let's look at cash flow. Ooh, look at that cash flow growth. I like that. 1.36, 1.42, 1.37, 1.48, 1.5, 1.8, 1.7, 1.85, 1.74, 2.6. Tim, here's a little bug right here. 5-year average free cash flow saying NA. No, it's there. That's interesting. I like this. I like it a lot. Oh, but when I go to annual, Tim, it does tell me the average. Well, this is pretty interesting. What are analysts saying about it? EPS growth, good work. Revenue growth, good work. Oh, this is interesting. TE connectivity, thanks for the advice. I think you should talk about it in the community a little bit, Raquel. Good one. Oh, 3 to 4% Alta Beauty. J Dizzle, is J Dizzle JD? I haven't looked at JD in a while. UNP, what is UNP? Is it Uncle Paul? Union Pacific. Union Pacific, it's a railroad, right? Yeah, largest public railroad in North America, operating more than 30,000 miles of track. So Dalton and I were talking about a company I'm looking at. It's over $2 billion, so I can talk about it. And it's Grupo Aeroportuario de Pacifico. Del Pacifico. And they operate airports, one of which is Guadalajara Airport. Tim, wasn't that a great airport?
It's not only a great airport, but then there's a guy who looks like you.
Oh,
has
yeah.
his picture on the wall. It's like this little pizza place.
Yeah.
Next to Adam Sandler.
So there,
Right?
yeah. So we were there, and so it's Tim and Laura, Tim's wife, and I, and a group of people, staffers, were there. And then Laura comes to me and goes, "Hey, Paul, why is your picture on the pizza next to Adam Sandler?"
By the way,
at the
she
pizza
thought
place?
it was real.
Yeah. So I go there. The guy looks exactly like me.
Doppelganger.
He's taking a picture with Adam Sandler.
But this is a great airport.
Oh, I love it. It's such an easy airport for such a big metro area. It's so easy.
I think I liked it better than Mexico City's airport.
Mexico City's airport.
Huge.
Mexico City's airport is a lot better. Terminal 2 has gotten better since you've seen it.
Really?
Yeah, they have like shops, better shops
they had
now.
shops because I
But-
got a hat.
But there's like a new section of like shops that are
okay.
higher end.
Because Guadalajara, it feels a little bit more
Guadalajara Airport.
luxurious. if
See, I
that's the
don't.
right-
I don't think it's luxurious, but I think it's
Comparative.
quaint.
Comparative.
Like Guadalajara is millions of people that live there, and the airport's. But anyways, this I was joking with and saying it's like railroads. How do you build more? You can't just go tomorrow and go, I'm going to start a railroad company. I'm going to start laying some railroad tracks down. There's a huge barrier to entry. Same with airports. Guadalajara Airport. How do you compete with Guadalajara Airport? I'm just trying to figure out the ownership dynamics of it. So,
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
yes.
Nick said, I wonder how many times that guy who owns that pizza shop gets recognized and says, "Aren't you Paul from Everything Else?"
Yeah, I doubt that, Nick. I seriously doubt that. Lisa's still sending me texts on things I need to buy for her. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and they're bidding on the Turks and Caicos airport. Mexican Paul OnlyFans link. Yep. Hans PAC. It's right here. Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico. Manzanillo. So with Union Pacific, man, that's a big difference between free cash flow and net income. Is it a highly intensive business? Is it a highly capital intensive business? Let's see. Oh boy. Yeah. Looks like they're, so when I want to see it, I look at this going, what percent of their free cash flow are they spending every single year on capital, on CapEx? So that's 25%. That's 18%, 19%, call it. That's 22%. So it seems like it's pretty consistent. And up here, they're at like 60%. And here it's like another 60%. So my question is 40% here. Why is it increasing so much? That could be a good thing. It could be just a temporary thing as they're trying to expand the business. Absolutely could be a good thing, but that's something I need to understand on this one before going further. It is the same thing that Dalton and I are talking about with this airport business. I'm like, listen, who owns the actual airport? Is this a management company or do they own the actual airport? I don't think they own the actual airport, like the land and the buildings. Those are things I need to understand. But I want you guys to know, I'm not the guy going, I want to understand, like, how could they lose that contract if they don't own the airport? That's what I need to understand. So here, I need to understand what's those capital improvements here. Same with that PAC. They've increased their capital improvements big time because they're expanding terminals and things like that. I understand that. Is it going to increase? Are they banking on an increased number of passengers, et cetera? Yeah. No. Yes, I am. Oh, wait, was I? Sorry. Union Pacific. Thank you for the update. That was Union Pacific. That's what I was talking about. Why did they increase suddenly? Union Pacific. And it's always been high. It's always been a high percentage of the cash from operations going to capital expenditures. Actually, it's been decreasing. It's actually been decreasing. That's interesting. That's actually very, very interesting. Yes, I screwed up. I was in the PAC the entire time. Yeah, I saw the Adobe. I made a comment. Adobe is great. Paul, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, sorry.
They're about 20 seconds behind, it looks like.
Yeah, sorry about that. My bags. So what drives Union Pacific's revenue? It's going to be shipments. And that's why they're kind of flatlining, a little bit down on revenue. $5 billion in free cash flow to get 150. It's 31 times. All right. I mean, it's a high barrier to entry business. So if you're going to talk about security of revenue and profit, it's probably there. The question is, what's the ample amount? Because the growth rate's not going to be there. Analysts are expecting, 3 to 5%. Yeah, the growth rate's not there, but look at the EPS growth. I mean, that's a lot of EPS growth right there, guys. 1148, 1282, 14.5, 16, 17.8. It's 10%, 12%, 13%, 12%, 10%. That's a lot of earnings growth. If it happens, you can pay a slightly higher price, an expensive looking price, and still do well. I don't understand enough about the rail business, but these financials don't seem awful. They do not seem awful. Let's look at the 8 pillars. A little more debt. Okay, more X's than I expected. All right. Oh, Sandwall. Why don't I go to dinner with Warren Buffett? Well, first off, he's done auctioning his dinners off. This year was the last one he did. That's one. 2, it's not important to me. Like, I don't look at it. And plus, I don't think he'd let me record it. So it wouldn't be good for the channel. 3rd, I just like the idea of meeting celebrities like that. I don't know. It's not like I'm like excited about it. Because the other thing is, so many people want to meet Warren Buffett because they think it's like something awesome. And I look at it going, I don't know. It's just, Nick, you're looking at me weird. Too many people want to meet him for the wrong reasons. That this is going to be a weird comment. Too many people want to meet him for the wrong reasons that it makes me not want to meet him. You know, it's like when everybody's obsessed with a certain person, I feel like when the masses become like, too many people exaggerate about Warren Buffett and quote him in order to sound like they are him, and they're not him. And for some reason, that just turns me off to even meeting him. Because I feel like he's going to look at, Monish Pabrai, when he agreed to do the interview with us, the biggest compliment I got from him when I asked him, like, hey, why'd you agree to us? He goes, well, I get requests all the time, but I saw your channel. I was like, oh, this guy's the real deal. That to me was a very genuine compliment. And Warren Buffett's been known for saying things just to make people like him. He believes in the how to win friends and influence people. And I'm not saying he's a fraud. And it's funny because Guy Spear once said to me, he's like, I'm glad you're calling people out, like you're seeing the inconsistencies in these gods. You know, like a guy like Charlie Munger criticizes people for having a Rolex, but he has 7 homes. When he criticizes, you know, Warren Buffett for flying with Warren Buffett, if he gave me a compliment, I don't know if I'd take it as a serious compliment. I'd be like, well, are you just saying that because you want me to like you more? Or are you saying that because you really believe it? When Monish said it to us, he didn't need us to like him. He was just like, yeah, I saw your channel. I'm like, oh, this guy's the real deal. Let me go have an interview with him. And I was like, good. You know what I mean? So I looked at that saying, okay, with Warren Buffett, I just feel like I wouldn't. Plus, the other thing is he tells everybody what he believes. It's not like I can learn much from him. He tells everybody what he believes. That's my opinion. The killer Mamba. Do you think Berkshire will get better or worse returns after Buffett passes? I don't think it's because of Buffett passing, but I think the returns will be worse just because of how much money they have. It's just hard to keep up. Never meet your heroes. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That's a great comment. Never meet your heroes. Do you think it'll be a letdown? I do, Sunwall. I don't think it's worth that price to pay. And, you know, I get to hear from them all the time on the internet. It's kind of like, well, you know, what's the big deal? For me, and I might criticize, because Monish, who I very much respect, and Guy Spear, I very much respect, went and paid the money to go meet him. And they ended up getting personal relationships out of Charlie and Warren. More power to them, but it wasn't for me. I can interview Zombie Charlie Munger. Do I like BN? Which one's BN again? Brookfield. Oh, I have Brookfield Asset Management. That's the one I own. Paul and Mo, would go to dinner with the Don in a heartbeat? Yes, probably. What are your thoughts on gaining commodities exposure through producers? See, I like that. John, I'm glad you bring this up. I like, when it comes to commodities, I got to go to the companies that are going to produce. That's why with gold, I own GDX and GDXJ. I don't know how to value gold itself, but the guys who bring it out of the ground and do something with it, I can understand that business model a lot better. But even then, you got to watch the prices, because the price of the stocks are going to go up and down. The revenues can go up and down based on the commodity price. Okay, what else you got? Oh, thanks, Jim. The Palantir info this morning. Thank you. Listen, Palantir is a doozy for me. I'm not going to lie to you. My bias is completely against Alex Karp. And even if you remember back in the day, in other videos, I'm like, this guy just looks like a weirdo. And that's wrong to say. But I just look at it going, I don't know. Guys, by the way, please follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on there. Very active on there. I talk a lot. I comment a lot. I post a lot. It's a great, I joined in April of 2022, so I'm at the 2-year mark. I used to never go to Twitter, and now I realize how awesome it is. So follow me there. I love commenting on things there. Real Nick, it was the Ulta Beauty same store sales. A dive into Yeti. Well, I won't go do a dive, but I'll look at it. So can I ask everybody a question? Is Yeti still, look at this flattening of revenue. Okay, let me see this. I'm going to put this up here. This is my Twitter, guys. Oh, it's on the screen. Thank you. So look at this. So Yeti, look at this, 52 million. So let's start at 2017. 830, 780, 913, a billion, billion 4, billion 6, a billion 66. Guys, I like Yeti. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know, is their service patented? Is there stuff patented? I don't know. It's Stanley Cups. What's the deal with Stanley Cups? Women like the Stanley Cups now.
Yeah, I think it's became more popular, at least with women, right?
Yeah. The women's Stanley Cups thing has just become like the big thing. Yeti generates $1.66 billion with about 10% margin there. I mean, very inconsistent profit, if you see. I mean, look at this inconsistent profit. Ready? So loss of 23, 58, 50, 155, 212, 90, 170. So you definitely got to look at it, not on the past year, but looking at the long-term average. So if we look here, oh, well, that's interesting, but the profit is very consistent over the 5 years versus last year. Good margin. Good gross margin. 57%, guys. That's awesome. 57% gross margin. That's awesome. 2 times sales. Free cash flow higher than net income. Oh, wow. I didn't realize the stock got to 108. And it's at 38 now. That's interesting. Let's see what analysts think. EPS. Whoa, big time EPS growth. Look at this. 274 to 386. That's impressive. Okay, revenue growth. Still expecting decent revenue growth. Let me run this in the stock analyzer tool. I'm going to do 3, 5, and 7%. 9, 9.75, 10.5. 9, 9.75, 10.5. See, the thing is, it's a good brand. I don't understand anything about it, so I'm still going to apply 13, 16, 19, 13, 16, 19, and desired return. I'm going to do the market return of 9%. All right, so it's not like glaring at me as saying, so low price of 24, high price of 48, mid price of 34, it's at 38, and this is no margin of safety. So I'm probably interested at like, I don't know, 25 to take a look. Here's the thing. I always wonder, is this a novelty item that's going to lose its excitement? Same with Crocs. Like Crocs are exciting, Crocs are great, and then is it going to continue on? I don't know. That's always my fear about companies like this. Now, do they make awesome products? They have the coolers. Absolutely. It's awesome. But the question is it going to be... Thanks, Enrique. Oh, Senwall, good call. Stanley's the women's version of Pimp Cups. So guys, at 10:31, we were thinking about going to the other channel. Should we stay on this one? I think I'm going to stay on this one because we have 100 people watching. So guys, if you're watching, stay on it because the more people we have on here, the longer I stay. So we have a half hour left. What's BHP? Let's talk about some other things besides stocks right now. Yeah, guys, the whole Fed thing. The Fed is like... This whole cutting of rates, everybody's obsessed with it. You know, I saw something on Twitter yesterday wrote like, what are you all going to say in 2 years when rates are back to 2 or 3% on home mortgages? And I was just like, does everybody forget? Now, here's the thing. I don't know if the future, it's like Japan. Japan had such low rates for a long time because they had stagflation. They were just like growing nowhere. That's what would it take. I mean, think about why you'd cut rates as a government. You cut rates to spur economic growth. You don't cut rates to inhibit economic growth. And you don't try to spur economic growth unless there's a struggle. So for me, if somebody told me we have 2% rates again in a few years, I'd be like, damn, what happened? Like, what happened that caused that again? It couldn't be, I don't think it could be good things. Look what happened with us. It was COVID. Look what happened with us. It was a great financial crisis. That's what started it. It's like, okay, well, have we been spoiled over the last few years? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Dalton, there's no margin of safety in markets today. Zero. There's negative margin of safety. There is negative margin of safety in markets today. I don't know. So I look at this and when we think about the Fed, first off, guys, like we talk about, don't make your investing decision based on the economy because I've shown the graph 1,000 times and I say, here's the market. And here's values, there's what actually happens. And the other day in the video I did this is from 1980 to now. We had presidential assassination attempts. And I went through the list of all the things, wars, terrorist attacks, all those things, and stocks went up. We also had declining interest rates for 40 years, which is a really good tailwind for a lot of people. If you started your investing career in 1980, and if you had a reasonable understanding of valuation, there's no way you didn't do very well. Even if you were dumb, there's no way you didn't do very well. The question is, when rates are normalized, how are you going to invest? I like higher rates. To me, it gets rid of a bunch of crap out there. We have a lot of real estate. We're trying to buy 5,000 units in the next 10 years. When rates are low and money's easy, we were getting wiped out on deals. Like, okay, give your offer. We gave an offer. No, don't even submit it. You're 30% below. We've been in the final group of like, just the other day, we got a call. If you increase your offer by 1.5%, it's yours. And we're like, yep, we're at our best price. Sorry, we can't do it. Like that was not happening 2 years ago. Now we've been in the final group on 5 or 6 properties and we're being pickier because we're getting into the final group on so many properties. It was let's see, what's the math? What's the math? I'll just tell you, we made an offer. We got to 22.5. They said, if you get to 23, it's yours. So it's 2.2%. 2.2%. I was like, no, not going to do it. We're at our best price. Well, the other thing was they said they wanted to take our offer over somebody else, but they wanted they wanted us to match the other offer. I'm like, no, that's okay. If you like us more, then take us. If I invest in VTI, so Timur, I think those are great. The only thing about QQQ, I'm personally going to wait for QQQ to be more reasonably priced. Because if you look at the data, if you wait for a reasonable price on QQQ, you can really outperform the market well. But it's high valuations today. It's like 35 times free cash flow. It's just so tough for me. But if you look at QQQ over time, like I'm going to show you guys right here. I'll pull up Y charts. Let's go to QQQ. So QQQ chart. Let's go to total return. Let's go to normalized return. I mean, go back to 12/31/1999. Total return of 142%, right? Now, go to the bottom of 2003, of the market right here in 2002. So go to 10/30/2002. 1,700%. I'm not saying you're going to catch the bottom. My point is it was so overpriced in 2000, just waiting for normalized prices, you'll probably do pretty well. And compared to the S&P, SPY. How do I add SPY to this? There it is, SPY. Look at that, 4X, 1,700% versus 482%. So if you do both right now, you're probably going to do fine. VTI is a total world index. What's VTI? I think that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's great. Paul, just buy QQQ on margin. By the way, Hans, I don't agree with you, but I do agree with you. High interest rates are nice for rich people who don't want to take any risk. It also gives you a good opportunity cost. You sit there and say, well, why would I go invest in this equity to make 8% when I can get 5.25% guaranteed? I think it just makes everybody better investor because you're looking at opportunity costs. What drove the market so high recently? Well, rates are 0%. I might as well put it in the market, get a dividend. That was the logic that drove prices up. That's why I thought when rates going up, I'd be like, oh, great, market's going to fall because interest rates act as gravity on valuations, as Warren Buffett says. Oops, I was wrong. I want to put money even, but can't get good. Sandwall, don't try to guess. Just, if you need to, get the habit going. Put less amount in there. Get the habit going. You need that habit going. I get it. Valuations are terrible, but I've been saying that for 7 years, and valuations have just gotten worse and worse and worse. When I stopped buying stocks like 7 years ago, 7 years, I think if it stopped in 18, valuations were higher than any point in history besides the dot-com boom. And watch what's happened since then. The markets have gone up 2.5 times. That's the problem with that. Learn from my mistake. What is any chance you guys looking at UK stocks? Whatever UK stocks we have, we gladly look for. I love that we have 108 people watching. Keep it coming, guys. Stay on. This is good shit. This is good shit. I love how it says we're streaming from Richfield, Ohio. I love that. I love that. Put it on the map. I said the motherfucking map. What's that song, guys? Can anybody name that song? But it's not the words. Put it on the map. What are you going to say? You can say it because nobody can hear you. Yep, that's the one. Hans, I agree with you. I would probably do that. You can get 5.25% return by buying 90-day treasuries. So the craziness can last a long, long time. I haven't looked at ELF, but Alta is pretty interesting. Eric, I don't think Alta is my buy price right now, but I think there's an argument to be made for today's price. I don't think you're going to get a crazy return out of it, but I'm waiting for the 300s.
Does Lisa go to Alta?
No, but Lisa's not. You know, it's funny with Lisa. I love Lisa. She's my wife. Yeah. Love her. But her taste is higher than most people's taste. So whenever Lisa comments on something like that, I go, Lisa, you're not the market. When Lisa was saying, make a comment like, Paul, why do you say this in the videos? I go, Lisa, you're not my market. And she's like, oh, guess I'm not your market. I'm like, exactly, you're not my market. But if I'm going to buy something really high end and nice, who do I go to? Lisa, because she understands that.
She's great.
Yeah, and she'll be like, Paul, I think this is better than this, or I don't think you need to spend this much, get this. You know, Lisa really changed my view on a lot of high-end items.
Yeah.
And she's very good to say, like, Paul, don't buy that because you already have something that's very similar. Why waste your money on that? But when it comes to things like Ulta, Lisa's like, it's all young. I'm like, yeah, but Lisa's 60 almost. You know what I mean? She's not the market for Ulta Beauty.
I just know those stores are busy.
Yes.
Like the few times I've gone in with Laura, it's busy in there.
And the thing is, Lisa will buy from Ulta, but she's buying the essentials from Ulta. Like Lisa buys from CVS and Walgreens, all the makeup Target, but it's the basics. She's not buying the high. Like then we go to like, there'll be specific like items from other like, you know, makeup people that she like goes, I need this item from this makeup person. Like she's very dedicated to this item. But the basic stuff, yeah, she'll go do that and she'll do it online or something. Paul, I'm not sure in which ETF to invest the bulk of. What do you think, VTI? VTI is a total market index. I mean, I haven't looked at, let's look at VTI. Oh, we did the video on it. What video was it?
Yeah, so we did a video in the last 3 weeks. It was called the Best ETF Money Can Buy. And basically, Paul, you say VOO, you're not going wrong, SPY, you know, any of the S&P 500 index funds, but VTI, I believe you said actually could end up beating the S&P 500 over the next 10 years.
Well, I mean, you look at history, it's beating the S&P 500.
Yeah,
If you look at history on total, not a total return, on a price basis, going back to 2002, it's beaten the S&P. Yeah. All right. Paul, does your wife lose? I have no idea. I have no idea what La Prairie is. What is that? Do you know what it is, Tim? I have no idea what that is. Listen, I don't really pay attention to what Lisa buys. All I know is that we'll be at a store and just say, oh, we're here. They sell this. Let me go get this. That's all I know. What's Bobbi Brown? I know she buys some Bobbi Brown stuff. That's what I always said. Nick goes as a singer. I'm like, wait, like the singer? She's like, it's not that Bobbi Brown. I'm like, oh, okay. I have no idea. Yeah. The best was, did you ever see that interview with Bobbi Brown and Whitney Houston? And with a Barbara Walters, somebody was interviewing them, and he was like staring there, and they're like, it's like Bobby. Somebody's along the lines of, "Do you believe in monogamy?" And he's like, "What does that word mean?" and she goes, and I'm glad he said that. By the way, I love that he said that. She goes, "You know, only being with one person." He's like, "Of course, that's why I got married." And I'm like, "There's no way that Bobbi Brown is monogamous. There is less than a 0% chance that Bobbi Brown is monogamous." No way, Hans. $500 plus. George Kasab. I don't think there's any good value investing news outlet that's better than us. I hate to say it. All of these guys are there. They report the news. These guys are just reporting the news. Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Market Watch. They're just reporting the news. Now, at Wall Street Journal, there's a guy named Jason Zweig. He wrote a great amendment to the Intelligent Investor where he did like the end of every chapter. I love him. Jason Zweig does get value. But apart from him, they're just there to report the news. It's your job to interpret it. It's your job. I mean, if you want to learn value investing and join a community, join our community. Literally, guys. It's $7 for 7 days to try it out. It's freaking awesome. Do people not consider COVID lows as a crash? Does it mean that it still isn't? No, I thought that now in hindsight, looking at it in my new valuation metrics, I think the COVID lows were awesome. A great opportunity to buy. Even like right now, I don't think we're going to I think the next 10 years are going to be a tough 10 years for the markets to get a good return. But doesn't mean that you can't get, that's why you dollar cost average. Because the next 10 years, based on history, are likely to go like this. So be flat. But if you dollar cost average along the way, you're going to invest at this price. And you're going to make money. And then when it finally does get a new secular bull market, you're going to go like this. Ready? You can go like this. That's what's going to happen. So invest along the way, and you're going to ride that thing all the way up. Trust me when I say you're going to love that. Because guess what, guys? There are secular bulls and secular bears. Secular means long-term. So like 15, 17, we've been in a secular bull for a long time. It's likely that we're going to have a sideways market for a long time. Fine. Doesn't mean you can't make money. It's all the more reason to pick individual stocks as well, but do both. Make sure your investments are hitting, the ETFs are hitting your retirement goals, then take a portion of your money and buy individual stocks. Oh, Sanwal, you're 100% right. It's a dense book. By the way, you want dense? Read Security Analysis. But that's why read the Jason Zweig one. It's literally at the end of every chapter, he puts like modern day examples and explains it in a modern day way. Absolutely do that. You've got to get the Jason Zweig sample one. Where is that one? Take me off screen here because I don't know what my Amazon account. No, I don't have anything in there. There's no, okay. No, that's fine. Where is it? Is this the, darn it. Is this the edition with Jason Zweig? Yes, this is the one with Jason Zweig. Because look, it says the author, follow the author, Jason Zweig. This is the one to get. I'll put it in the chat. I tell anybody. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, okay, good, Sanwal. So Eric, good question on Intel. I have sold puts this morning on Intel at lower prices. I got lucky and sold my Intel shares through a covered call at 48, thinking this was quite same thing I did with Meta. And but now I've sold puts at lower prices. So here's the deal, guys. I started buying Intel like at $50 or $48 a share. I got all the way to an average of 35. I kept buying it in the 20s. I sold it at 48. Awesome. Made a good buck, but it's not what I'm here for. Now it's at 41 after being down a lot. I sold puts at 38 and 35 for April 26th, I think, and May, whatever, 17th or whatever the end of May is. So now if I get them both, I get to keep my basis on this one was like $1. So it's like $36.50. And this one would be like $34.50. So I'll have an average price of $35.50 if I get it. So down at my other basis again. That makes me excited. That's why I love fucking selling puts. They're the best. Yeah, Kathy Wood. So guys, it's funny. I posted yesterday on Twitter about Tesla. My comment was, guys, this is why you need margin of safety. Because eventually the story won't work. Eventually the hype will stop. I think Tesla is absolutely going to be a huge car company. I think it has the potential for being the largest car company in the world someday. But it doesn't mean there's aren't going to be hiccups around the road. They just had a hiccup yesterday. They only reported like 386,000, some absurd number. I remember seeing somebody on Twitter the day before said, I would bet my life they're going to be over 400,000 units delivered. And it was at 368,000 or something. I'm like, that's my point. And trust me, I've been there too, where I said, that's not going to happen. And it does happen. It's been very humbling to have that happen to me, to realize things can be crazier than I expect them to be. Same point though, it also makes my investing better because now I go, hey, this is a good price. I don't know, it could just skyrocket from here. I'm good with it. And if it goes lower, I'll just buy more. That's what I like about this. But you got to remember with the hype, when all the hype is happening, there's no room for error. There's very little room for error. And that's going to cause problems. It's exciting when Tesla's going from, $10 a share to $414. And even at 160, you're still up 16x in your money. But I don't think it's worth 160. That's my opinion. That's my absolute opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, though. Yes, and Tesla is a car company. I'm sorry. Bitcoin is safer than Tesla. No, I don't agree with you, Hans. I think more people are getting... Listen, my stepson is a car fanatic. He used to say, I don't want an EV. He just bought a Tesla the other day. Just got a Tesla Model Y. He loves it. By the way, he found that Easter egg in a Tesla where it does this singing and Tesla lights and oh yeah, 100%. I gotta get. I sold a bunch of puts on Google. Yeah, I know, Sanwal. That sucks. Saze, we do have a community, but it's not on Discord. We used to have Discord, and we didn't like it. We made our own community. So you can talk in the community in our software. It's everythingmoney.com. Click. Can somebody put a link in there? Yeah. That is one person, Hans. I get that. But even my fiance, I mean, I don't think it's just one person. EV, people are getting more and more excited about EV. Trust me on this one. Bro, that's one person. Thanks. Discord be cool. Oh my God, look at the markets. They're up a ton. Kathy Wood still defending her 2,000 share price target on Tesla. Wow. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's go to Tesla here. Let's go to Tesla here. It's currently at $166 a share. So to get to 2,000, it has to go up. Is that 13 times? 2,000 divided by 1. Let's call it 13 times. The market cap is currently 530. Okay, so 530 times 13 equals 5 trillion, 3 times 5, 1.6. Let's call it $1.7 trillion. Sorry, 7. So 5 trillion and so 6 point. Let's call it $7 trillion. $7 trillion market cap. For a company to have a $7 trillion market cap, what's it got to make a year? Let's call it $350 billion. 20 times earnings. Okay. Now, let's say Tesla gets a bottom line margin of 20%, which, by the way, is not a car company. It'd be a combination of a car and software business. Let's say 20%. Keep in mind, by the way, what does Apple get? Apple's at 23, 24% profit margin. So almost Apple. There's no way it's going to be like Apple. But let's say 20%. That means they've got to do $1.7 billion, trillion dollars in revenue. Okay, let's say half that comes from cars. $850 billion a year in cars. How many cars are they selling a year? 10 million? So what is that, $85,000 a car? Is that the right number? Something like that? Guys, I don't get this. Like, this math just doesn't add up to me. I don't understand that. Let me see if I'm right here on the math. So 20x, 350 billion, that's correct. 20% profit margin would take 5 times, so about 1.7 trillion. If half that's cars, 850 billion divided by 10 million. That's the only thing I have to verify. 850 billion divided by 10 million. Yeah, $85,000 a car. I don't know. I just have a hard time getting to that. Saul, what's up, man? I just don't get the numbers on Tesla. I mean, listen, more power to her. I mean, I still say that by the end of this bear market, Kathy Wood's going to retire and claim it's to spend time with her family, and she's done everything she needs to do, but it's actually because her fund sucks. There's zero chance Kathy would agree to be on the show. Zero chance. You're right. Very good question. The problem with your math is it's missing one variable, emotion. But remember, in the short run, stocks are a voting machine. In the long run, they're a weighing machine. So I'm betting on a long run here of saying, in the long run, it's going to go towards that. You're right. It could hit that, but based purely on emotion. 100% right. But the long run value of it, what's it going to be? Great comment to make there. Buffett's still outperforming her. Yeah, he is. Have you guys seen that video? Have you guys seen that video of Buffett versus ARK in the last like 3 or 4 years? It's incredible. Guys, we got about 6 minutes left. About 6 minutes left. By the way, I had to change my McDonald's location because I got into it with the lady at the window when she accused... She's like, you didn't order. I'm like, I'm looking at my app right here. The order's right here. She's like, you didn't order. I'm like, yes, I did. It's right here. She's like, no, you didn't. You just skipped in line. I'm like, so I just got in the line.
Don't they just give you a number on the app?
It says, Tim, it literally says, this is your order today at this time. Yeah. It's right there. And she's like, no, you didn't order. I'm like, so I just drove to the window and just kept going. She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool.
So which Mickey D's location are you going to now?
I'm going to the one in Brecksville.
So you're waiting pretty far.
I'm driving 25 minutes before I go.
Before you get your...
The one on Chagrin is terrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
How much further out of the way is it for you to go to the old one you used to go to?
Oh, it would add
15 minutes this way.
It would add 30 minutes to my time.
Is there not one in Solon if you came south?
There's one on Miles Road. That one's got long lines, though.
Oh, yeah.
The one in Breck's, feel like wait a little longer and the line's fast. What's UiPath? Let me look at UiPath. Okay, they have free cash flow. That's good. Provides automation with user emulation that's platforms built to be used by employees throughout a company and address a wide variety of use cases. I don't even get what this is, but it's software. Ooh, look at that gross margin. Ooh-wee, 85%. 9 times revenue, but a lot of growth potential. Guys, it's a money-losing business that has potential of really being good. All right. New exclusive content. Oh, yeah, UPS. If you want that, join our community. Oh, boy, look at this price. All-time high of $90. It's currently at 21. Interesting. Hans. What's up, Kevin? Hans, I'm going to tell you right now, I told my wife that we were getting that Krispy Kreme was going to McDonald's. She goes, no. I'm like, I know. We're going to be just stuffing our faces when we go there now. Kevin. So, Andrew, yeah. Yeah, Intel is down a lot. So is Ulta Beauty. Crashy wood. Boy, the markets are surging, though. How's Tesla doing? Tesla's up. Nvidia's up. Coinbase is up. Crypto's up. Ulta. Wow, still down 13%, 13.4. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. All-time high was just a few weeks ago at 575. Guys, look at that. Literally 3 weeks ago, not even 3 weeks ago, it was at 575. It's at 450 now. That is 20% off its price all day. 20%, just like that. Now, granted, 13% of that's today, but still. Things can happen fast. Be patient. Oh, yeah, gold is at all-time high. I don't really pay attention to the macro. You know that, Kevin. I don't really look at the macro very much. I love talking about macro. I love it. But I really try to separate my talk of macro, like the higher level things, saying, guys, for them to cut rates, what does that mean for the country? It means the country needs to be jump-started, which means there's some sort of slowdown. That's not a good thing. My guess is unemployment would be higher. I could be wrong. So far, it's felt like that we've had a soft landing, right? Might be the first soft landing in history. We shall see. Guys, about a minute left. Please just tell me how much you love me. Is that you hitting the heart button? No? Okay. All right, guys. Now that we're done here, let's pray for lower markets. Thank you very much. And again, if you're not part of the community, please join the community. I appreciate you subscribing to the 24/7 channel. If you ever see a video that you like, that you think a friend of yours might enjoy, forward it on to them. Helps us out, and much love. Don't ask people to subscribe to us, though. Just let them on their own. Goodbye.